In 1995, a robber named MacArthur Wheeler was arrested by the police after robbing 2 banks in Pittsburgh. Wheeler was surprised by his arrest. In his confession, he questioned how the police could recognize his face caught on surveillance cameras. During the robbery, Wheeler didn't cover his face with a mask but instead smeared his face with lemon juice. He believed lemon juice contained substances that would make his face invisible to the camera, as lemon juice can be used as invisible ink on paper. According to Wheeler, his action was very logical, and it seemed impossible for the cameras to see his face and for the police not to find him. Intrigued by this case, David Dunning and Dunning-Kruger conducted research. What causes people who lack knowledge and skills to be unaware of it? In 1999, they conducted a study titled Unskilled and Unaware of It, where they tested a group of people on grammar, rumor, and logic. In the first experiment, 65 participants were asked to evaluate jokes they found funny. Those who believed they were smart at assessing humor performed the worst in the given test. Dunning and Kruger then tested language and logic skills on the same participants, and the results remained the same. Most of the people who scored the lowest were the most confident in performing the test. Meanwhile, those who scored the highest felt that others performed better than them. From this, the Dunning-Kruger effect was born. We've all experienced it, chatting with friends, and one person is overly confident in what they say, feeling like they know a lot. But when we try to search on Google, it turns out that everything they said is untrue. However, what's strange is that this person seems unaware of it. No one else knows either, so people believe them because they seem confident in what they say. They are so confident that we start to question, do they even know what they're saying isn't true? Empty vessels make the most noise. The Dunning-Kruger effect is a cognitive bias where someone who lacks knowledge or skills experiences illusory superiority, meaning they believe their abilities are greater than others. People who only know a little about a subject tend to exaggerate how much they know and underestimate what others know. As a result, those who are most confident in their abilities are usually not the ones who should be confident. Dunning and Kruger explained this phenomenon in a graph. The vertical line represents confidence, and the horizontal line represents competence. As we can see in the graph, when we know little, we feel very confident. And as we learn more about the subject, we suddenly become less confident in our abilities. And as our knowledge increases, our confidence gradually rises again. On average, we're not very good at logical reasoning, financial knowledge, mathematics, emotional intelligence, and even chess. Everyone tends to rate their intelligence in these areas as if they were an expert. The question now is, why does this happen? The people tested should know they're not very good, right? We must have a gut feeling that we won't be able to pass an exam. After all, we're the ones who wrote the exam, not someone else. And oddly enough, why does this only happen when we only know a little about the subject? When we learn something about a subject, we start to exaggerate how much we know. We feel that we know and understand the subject. But we haven't learned enough, haven't known enough to realize that there is still much to learn. We're not skilled enough to accurately assess our knowledge and abilities, we haven't accessed deeply enough about the subject, so we feel like we know more than we actually do. Imagine you're going to take an exam on World War II, for example, because you feel like you've seen enough TikTok videos about World War II, you feel like you know enough about the subject. But apart from watching TikTok videos, you haven't done any other learning, you haven't done any research on World War II. And you certainly weren't in World War II. When you take the test, because you don't feel that stupid, you feel like you'll definitely do well on the test, at least better than average. Right? This is how the Dunning-Kruger effect works. By watching TikTok or even watching some documentaries about World War II, it doesn't mean we've deeply understood the subject. It's not enough. You've only seen the tip of the iceberg, but you don't know how much ice is hidden in the water. This is what makes you live in the illusion that you've discovered and know everything. We see this every day, whether it's a know-it-all friend, a student who feels smart but gets low grades, or an employee who feels resentful because others got promoted. Performance reports provide an objective view of someone's performance without bias. However, when someone doesn't know their job very well, they won't be satisfied with that. In their minds, they're much better than what's written in the report. And this makes them give reasons like the boss doesn't like them or even look down on the workers who got the promotion. They don't try to stop for a moment, pause, and think that there is still much to learn. There was a study done on all the engineers in a company. They were asked to rate how well they performed compared to other engineers. 42% believed they were among the best and were in the top 5% in the company. In another scenario, professors at a university were asked if they taught with average quality, below average, or above average. 94% of all professors felt they taught with above average quality. Unrealistic figures in mathematical calculations. Even though these professors are the ones who always give grades to others, they can't accurately assess themselves. Another study conducted on debate participants in a university tournament found that 25% were in the bottom tier in the first round, losing almost 4 out of 5 matches, but they felt they won almost 60% of the time without clear knowledge of the rules of the debate or how often their arguments were refuted. Another study conducted in North America, Europe, and Japan showed that culture also plays a significant role in this cognitive bias. From driving ability assessments, 93% of Americans feel they drive better than average, while 60% of Swedes feel the same way. Unlike Japan, where they generally underestimate their abilities as a strategy to view their low performance as an opportunity to learn and grow. In Dunning-Kruger's research, they found that the less someone knows about a subject, the lower their metacognitive abilities about that subject. Metacognition is awareness of the thinking process itself. How the brain evaluates itself. Low metacognition makes them unaware of their own incompetence. And this is indeed quite sad because those who talk the most are the ones who know the least about what they're talking about, and they're the most trusted because of their loud voice. What's even sadder is that the dumber people are, the less likely they are to take the opportunity to learn. They won't read more and listen to anything from others because they feel they are the best. And what's more concerning is that those who know more about the subject are unwilling to teach those who don't know, even though that's what they should do. They feel incapable of doing so, even though they should be more capable. And